Well, welcome international basketball fans here to Yokohama for the 2023-24 B.LEAGUE Championship. Indeed, the defending champions Ryukyu Golden Kings have returned for a third consecutive finals, hoping to become only the second team in Japanese B.LEAGUE history to win consecutive B.LEAGUE championships. Well, they are taking on the Hiroshima Dragonflies, and hello and welcome international basketball fans. I am your commentator Josh Mann alongside Anthony Suntai. Anthony, this is going to be an exciting matchup. What can we expect in these next few days of B.LEAGUE action?
Well, we expect top-level basketball, that's for sure. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us here as we join the action from the Yokohama Arena, as you mentioned. And obviously, the Ryukyu Golden Kings are the favorite squad here. But people cannot overlook the Hiroshima Dragonflies. They've gone over two top-seeded teams to be able to make it here. So they're on a roll. They've got momentum, but Ryukyu says we have momentum as well. So it's going to be a humdinger of a series.
Well, we are going to take a look at some of the key players as we introduce both lineups. There's your starting lineup tonight. Murphy will be in the backcourt along with Nakamura, Dwayne Evans, along with Nick Mayo and Yamazaki. Now, Anthony, I want to ask you, of course, this team, I mean, they surprised everybody when they took care of business against San Antonio Phoenix, but to win on the road in a three-game thriller against Nagoya Diamond Dolphins, confidence is flying with this team.
Oh, definitely the confidence is at an all-time high. And at the same time, even if you're playing away once again, to them it doesn't matter. They feel that they can win just about anywhere here in Japan.
Of course, this team coached by the great Kyle Milling, who was once a player and coach in his days back in both France and here in Japan. And there's the man who needs to make a difference. Remember, these two teams have met 4 times in the regular season, and the only time the Hiroshima Dragonflies did win was 21 days ago, in which Nick Mayo was their top scorer.
Well, again, you know, you can take a look at a lot of these numbers, Josh, but at the same time, when you are in a championship series, a lot of times coaches will say we'll throw all of that out the window because what's important is what's in front of us. And right now, both these teams are playing great basketball. As they say, the cream has risen to the top. We can't have a better final.
And of course, you just saw there one of the fans holding up the sign for key backcourt play who is injured, unfortunately, for the Dragonflies, Hiroshima. But now we're going to take a look at the defending champions. You know, one thing I've been very impressed with this team, of course, they do not change their starting lineup. You've seen that backcourt, Kishimoto, Imamura, Onodera, bringing Vic Law off the bench of Alex Cook. But Anthony, I've got to ask you, it's been the key matchup inside with both Alan Durham and Jack Cooley here for the Ryukyu Golden Kings.
Well, when you take a look at the Ryukyu Golden Kings, they do have a different style of play. And as you said, because it's been successful, a lot of the teams, I think, have started to build their lineup to be able to really match up against them. But that's the standard right here we have in the B-League. And with Jack Cooley inside, an immovable force. And at the same time, Alan Durham, who can hit it from the outside. He's actually a 3-level scorer, so he can hit from just about anywhere. He also plays tough defense. And so this is going to be a tough nut to crack. But at the same time, if you look at the lineup of the Dragonflies, with Kerry Blackshear Jr., they also have Dwayne Evans, of course, and Nick Mayo. Those 3 world imports actually also have the same kind of quality that can stay in step here with Ryukyu. That's why I feel this can go either way.
Well, there you starting lineups tonight. Dwayne Evans, who's been one of the key top scorers for the Dragonflies, he will go up against Alan Durham. They know him as a Hulk when he played in his days for the Morocco Bolts in the PBA. Well, Nick Mayo has got the monumental job tonight, Anthony, of keeping Jack Cooley off the rebounds. That is going to be a tough task tonight for him.
Well, as far as Nick Mayo is concerned, yes, defensively, being able to keep Jack Cooley, who loves to crash the offensive rebounds, is going to be the main key for him. But at the same time, offensively, Nick Mayo can hit the outside shot. So it's going to be very critical for him to draw out the defense of Jack Cooley, because Jack Cooley also gobbles up a lot of those defensive boards. So it's critical to get Jack Cooley out of the paint for Hiroshima to be successful.
Well, of course, the backcourt trio hasn't changed. The only time, of course, when Daikutani did change the starting lineup was, of course, Game 1 against Chiba Jets, where he started with Vic Law, but quickly went back to his principles. While Kyle Milling, you know what's interesting, Anthony, about this team, they had Kai Soto last year, but Kai's injury meant they had to make a change. Of course, they brought in Chilinze Nefawe, and I wouldn't say it's worked differently. I probably felt they could have got to the finals if they had Kai anyway, but this team, I mean, as you mentioned, they had to go through San Antonio Phoenix, and then they had to go through a 3-game series. They are taking it step by step, but this is going to be one hell of a challenge against the defending champions.
It's a good thing you mentioned Chilidze Nepao. He actually goes by Chilidze Kawata now because he is the naturalized player here for the squad of the Dragonflies. He brings a different dimension than what Kai does. Kai has a lot of offensive moves. He's also a very good defensive player, but Nepawe just concentrates on the boards, does the dirty things, gets them extra possessions. And I think it's that defensive mindset that he has that has really helped propel the second unit here of Hiroshima.
So welcome, basketball fans. This is the 2023-24 B.LEAGUE Finals. Washington Dragonflies having the first possession. Guess this will be the third consecutive finals here for the Ryukyu Golden Kings, losing in 2022 to Utsunomiya Bricks and winning last season. Well, both teams, of course, volume three-point shooting teams, but you got to ask the question, Anthony, will the team who has the high percentage from the perimeter come out victorious here in Game 1?
I think so. Not just the perimeter, but even from the outside. So you have to be able to hit your outside shots. Actually, that game of basketball has changed in recent years. And so they rely on the outside shot, just like that one there from Kishimoto. Actually, that is from their main gunner. That wasn't Kishimoto, that is Imamura.
Well, Keita Imamura, of course, made his debut at the FIBA Asian Cup qualifiers at the Ariake Coliseum for Japan. And as you mentioned, he's been one of the key namesake players from the perimeter. Now Nick Mayo smothered on defense here by Jack Cooley. Here comes the pick-and-roll action. But showing the confidence to take Jack Cooley inside the key. Kishimoto trying to break down the defense. Dragonflies trying to remain compacted, trying to make this difficult. Finds an open down the middle, finding Cooley, and again, the Dragonflies just showing a bit of vulnerability inside the paint.
Perfect there. You know, Kishimoto has really been doing that together with Jack Cooley for such a long time. They play beautiful music together.
The Dragonflies get the switch on defense, forcing Golden Kings to force a foul down low with Keita Imamura. And that's something, you know, the Dragonflies have to go here to tonight. They've got to make sure they get those mismatches, but look at the no-look time. Too much help side defense coming from Mayo. And Cooley, I've said this all season, cool as you like, Anthony.
And there you can see Imamura using that huge screen. When Cooley's there setting a screen, you really have to go around him. That gives up the shooters so much time to be able to take that open shot.
Yamazaki trying to isolate here, going off the backboard, and nothing dropping at the moment for the Dragonflies. Golden Kings trying to pile on the pressure. Just trying to find the balance and spacing in their offense, but they go for another deep three this time, coming from Kishimoto. Oh, when it rains, it pours, and if you leave him wide open, he will punish you.
I'm a bit surprised Coach Kyle Milling hasn't called the timeout yet. The momentum is clearly on the side of the home squad.
Definitely fatigue is on the factor of the home squad as well, because you have to remember, Golden Kings have gone through two game series already, plus they've played more games this year, being in the East Asia Super League. Coming in, that will settle down the nerves of the Dragonflies early on.
Yes, it definitely will. When you actually take a look at the starting point guard in Nakamura, he brings a lot of stability on that floor. That's why he is their #1 PG.
Kishimoto trying to orchestrate the offense. Again, running those ball screens here with Jack Cooley. Brown penetrates, finds Onodera wide open. He'll fire a three. Onodera was key in that game against Chiba Jets in Game 2, where he hit 3 consecutive three-pointers in the second quarter. And well, it could be anybody's night here tonight for the defending champions.
And those open shots from Onodera, he has to knock them down to keep the defense honest.
Evans finding the mismatch. Doesn't want to post up Kishimoto, kicks out for another one. Probably felt that they probably should have taken that mismatch with Dwayne Evans, because here come the Golden Kings. Both players, remember, did play for John Patrick in Germany at MR Paris in Liverpool, but there you can see, too big, too strong, and simply just too good for Jack Cooley.
What you've got to do is you've got to do early work. You can't allow him to get inside that paint, or else it's going to be 2 points. You got to push him out before he gets possession.
Pump fakes, getting a ball reverse, and again, good anticipation on defense from Shota Onodera. Anthony, something I wanted to ask you, of course. You look at the playoff bracket this season in the B-League. All 4 teams who have won B-League championships Brex, Alvok Tokyo, Chiba Jets, Ryukyu Golden Kings, all on the same side of the bracket. The other side, it was all inexperienced teams. It was a very different playoff structure this year.
Well, I think that really works in favor for some of the other teams, and especially for Hiroshima. You know, they talked about the fact, especially against the San Diego Phoenix, the San Diego Phoenix were the better team all throughout the season, Josh. But at the same time, you could see Coach Kyle Mini said it was our experience, because we were experienced enough to have been into the playoffs last year, and that worked in our favor.
Umamura trying to get inside the paint, got it by Murphy. A one-legged fadeaway, and already the offensive rebounds falling here for the Golden Kings. Kishimoto has made 1 3. Nutmeg session. Akui comes up with a loose ball. This is what he'll give you. Relentless energy, going after every loose possession. This is one of the key reasons why the Golden Kings were able to win 2 Game 3 series as the Hulk, a.k.a. known as Alan Durham, nailing the three-pointer.
Those are the shots Allen needs to be able to make, and he's very confident because he knows Jack Cooley's in there for the offensive rebound.
Now trying to come off one screen, hitting the back iron. Kishimoto putting a hand to it. He goes out of bounds. Well, going back to Alan Durham, he was very untraditional how he went through his NCAA basketball, Anthony. He didn't play NCAA Division I. He played Division III at Grace Bible College. But I felt, after a few years playing in Europe, he played in France, he played in Israel, started in Romania. I felt it's when he came to the PBA where he really found that love for the game as a professional.
Well, you know what happens is everybody has different paths to be able to get to the pinnacle of their career. And you can see the kind of route that he took. Basketball around the world has just gotten so much stronger. And so it doesn't really matter where you play. But yes, being with the Meralco Bolts, he was the main man. He was able to really shape his game there. And he became an all-arounder right after that. And he's taking that A game of his right now here to Ryukyu.
Well, Nick Mayo converting on the M1. He'll go to the charity stripe here for the potential three-point play, originally from the state of Maine. In the United States of America, played at Eastern Kentucky University. Well, when you talk about championship DNA, Anthony, here comes Alex Cook, brought into the Ryukyu Golden Kings this season. Two-time champion with Alvok Tokyo. And, if you think about it, Golden Kings, they've got a golden chance here. They could become the second B.LEAGUE team ever to win consecutive championships.
And they understand that history is in the offing as far as they're concerned. And, they're going right down to business with a very solid start here in the first 5 minutes of play.
Holding on to a 5-point lead, just under 5 minutes here in the first quarter. Big Lord getting the lob. He draws a foul. This one's going to be on the ground. It's only the first team foul here for the Hiroshima Dragonflies, as this one's called against Takuto Nakamura.
That's what Hiroshima has been able to do. They've been able to play tough, suffocating defense, but not giving up too many fouls, not giving up a lot of free throws, and that has been one of their keys to success.
Golden Kings trying to get this one in bounds. And avoiding the 5-second violation and the turnover. Again, poor defense. Well, it started with good defense, but they left Alan Durham wide open on the baseline.
People forget that the inbounder can be one of the most dangerous individuals. Alan Durham went straight under the basket, got the pass. That was an easy 2. He's got 5 points in the contest now.
Gary Blackshear Jr. now in his second season in the Japanese B.LEAGUE, got to playing in Turkey for Galatasaray. What a rejection. Wanted to call the foul. So 2 more free throws coming up here for the Hiroshima Dragonflies. This one's against Vic Law. That's a very close one, Anthony.
It's very close, and at the same time, with Alex Kirk there inside, a 7-footer, it's going to make things even more difficult for Hiroshima to be able to find some space, but that's why they bring in Sinepawe.
Sinepawe originally from South Africa, and as you mentioned, a naturalized play here in Japan. Now another deep 3 coming up from the Dragonflies. This one way off the mark.
That was too deep.
Looking to convert this.
They get it inside to Kirk. Look at Kirk. Once he seals inside, it's advantage him over Nepawe.
Of course, his introduction this year to the team, he has really just been a solid veteran player. Diakutani saw an opportunity to not only bring Vic Law in, but also Alex Cook. And, Anthony, especially very well, championship experience, it is like gold dust. It's invaluable to a team, especially when you're trying to defend your championship.
That is for certain, and that's why I think the Golden Kings are a little confident now, knowing that as long as they play their style of basketball, they should be able to win the championship. But you can't overlook Hiroshima, because that's why they got here, is because they were also confident in their capabilities, and it showed in those 2 upset victories that they had leading here into the finals.
Well, Kirk has had his struggles from the free throw line so far here in the playoffs. We saw this evidently at the Ariake Coliseum in the first round of the quarterfinals against Alvak Tokyo's former team. 1 for 2 so far. You look at this Hiroshima Dragonflies, what are some ways they could try to get into this game? Because you can see they're only down by 8 points, but offensively they just haven't clicked into a rhythm.
I think more than anything else is they've just got to get into the flow. So they've got to pass, they've got to be able to have a lot of movement similar to what they're doing here. And then just look for the better shot. A lot of times they're settling for those long threes. Here's Gary Blackshear trying to make something happen. That was a good play.
Trying to take a body with him.
And you see, that's what happens when you have a lot of movement there, Josh. It opens things up, and that is a gentleman that can really hit it, Ryo Yamazaki.
Well, it's interesting. Everybody talks about how superior the rebounding is from the Golden Kings, but a lot of the times, the 4 times they've met this year, the Hiroshima Dragonflies, they've actually won the rebounding counts 2 times. Because they were tied on rebounds in the second last game, but they can see Vic Law, easy penetration down the middle, and that is simply unstoppable. With 3:02 to go here in the first quarter, 7-point lead currently to the Ryukyu Golden Kings. Kyle Milling pulling that timeout, as you said, Anthony. Probably should have done it in the early stages.
Well, it hasn't really hurt them, because right now they're still within earshot, but they need to pick things up here. But Vic Law brings a different dimension of attack here, and he easily gets into the paint for 2.
That could be a bit of a defensive nightmare for the Hiroshima Dragonflies, because Kerry Blackshear Jr., as great as he is, he will struggle to defend those backcourt players. And you take a player like Vic Law, who did start in the NBA G League with the Lakeland Magic, briefly did play in the NBA, but he is just too talented to be defended by a post player. But going to the perimeter shooting, you said it, Anthony, it is imperative. The Dragonflies, not only do they shoot well, but they have to create high percentage looks.
And at the same time, sometimes if you have an open shot, it may not necessarily be the best shot. Similar to 2 plays earlier, we saw a very deep 3 taken. They can look for a better shot, and a higher percentage one at that. It's critical that they take very good shots, because every possession counts when it comes to the finals.
Well, these 2 teams, they've built all season to get to this level, and no doubt, of course, you want to throw it all out on the table to make sure you play 2 very good games so you can take that championship home. Remember, we've only ever had 4 champions in the B-League. The first one went to Utsunomiya Brex, then it was a double winner from Alvak Tokyo. Chiba Jets becoming the 3rd team, and Golden Kings, after losing in the 2022 finals, won it last year in a very surprise, I'd say, David versus Goliath matchup against the Chiba Jets. The Dragonflies only down here by 7 points. Finally looking for a handoff. Pull up from the perimeter, that one just hits the back iron, but another offensive rebound. You gotta appreciate the Dragonflies, the relentless effort to go after second chances.
Well, they realize, because of the fact that there are a lot of threes being taken, those are going to be long rebounds. Those are the shots Nepawe needs to be able to hit inside.
We'll say Fulio has just checked into the game for the Dragonflies. He usually is a regular starter for Kyle Milling. Mixed up the matchup tonight. Kishimoto, another 3. This one goes up, and it's good. Now it's a 10-point lead to the defending champions.
That's the biggest lead in the ball game right now here for the Golden Kings at 21-11. The previous was at 8 points.
Should try to take on Alan Durham. Loses his balance, and that's going to be a traveling violation. Good defense. That's a tough play, of course, and Kyle Milling. You want to get the ball inside the paint, but you cannot afford to turn the ball over at that kind of stake.
Not to mention the fact that you cannot force the action. You've got to let it come to you. Now both coaches trying to go to their benches, Josh.
But it's interesting. Matsuaki's coming to the game, and so is Kamisawa. But, the big loss here, Anthony, for the Dragonflies. No Ryo Terashima due to injury. That's 10 points per game. They're losing tonight.
Oh, that's for sure. But at the same time, as they say, that's what happens when you go into battle. You can't always have a full card, but you got to do what you got to do.
This is better defense from the Dragonflies. But now Mayo in the face of Alan Durham. Again, the Dragonflies counterattack. 90 seconds to go here in the first quarter, trailing by 10 points. Blackshear Jr. having to kick this one out to Serfunyo. Just looking a little bit discombobulated in their offense.
Again, not too much movement.
Final seconds here. Got to get something going with Serfunyo. That's a bit of a Hail Mary three-pointer. Can't get it. And here come the Golden Kings. Well, Matsuwaki hesitated with a three. This time he takes it. And again, no problem.
That's going to open up their biggest lead of the ball game at 24-11. It's now at 13 points. Matsuwaki, talk about instant offense.
And the foul went down the middle. And that time the Golden Kings defense just getting exposed there. I guess the good thing about that play is if the Dragonflies do get a stop here, it could be a potential 2-for-1. But they're going to have to dig deep on defense. Now to Mackey finding Alex Cook, and there's a turnover. And just over 3 seconds difference between game and shot clock here for the Dragonflies.
That's a very good foul from Matsuwaki. But they might give it to Durham here. You don't want your world import to pick up a cheap foul.
Well, Cooley's going to come back into the game. And this team, of course, especially in the series against Outback Tokyo, early foul trouble was a problem for the Ryukyu Golden Kings. Not so much of an issue against the Chiba Jets, but probably not something they want to be too concerned with here in the finals. Dragonflies trying to go for the final shot, but they'll go for a quick one, actually. And Kerry Blackshear Jr. drilling the three-pointer.
Well, it worked for him there. The entire defense forgot that the man with the basketball is the most dangerous. Allowed him to take that open three, and Blackshear converts.
And Lord going for a quick one. The 5-0 run here for the Dragonflies. Serfunyo will put up a prayer. Well, almost got that one, but at the end of the first quarter, it is indeed the defending champions who do lead this one in Game 1 of the 2023-24 Japanese B.LEAGUE Finals. Well, I'm your commentator, Josh Bett, alongside Anthony Sunsai. And, Anthony, from what we've seen so far, the defense has been quite tough from the Golden Kings.
Yes, it has been, and that really has been their calling card all throughout. Again, you brought up the fact a while ago that there is no Rio Terashima for Hiroshima. It's a big loss, yes, but at the same time, what was good was they knew coming into the playoffs they really weren't going to have him, and they were able to get off those huge victories leading here into the finals. So you can see that they've made the adjustments. Coach Kyle Milling has really had to work overtime to be able to make sure that he's filled in that spot that was vacated by Terashima. What would have been even, shall we say, what would have hurt them a little bit more is if they've had him all throughout and they just didn't have him for the finals. That would have been a real big blow. But they've been able to make the adjustments and they're looking good so far. Just not today.
Well, I think there's something else I wanted to speak to you about because, what I'm very interested. Vic Law, last season played in this final against Ryukyu Golden Kings with the Chiba Jets. They had the best record. They won the Emperor's Cup, and they ended up losing to the Golden Kings. And the old saying is, if you can't beat them, join them. Now, Vic Law this season, he's struggled through injuries, come back, but it's interesting that Dayo Katani, for the most part, still continues to bring him off the bench. This seems to work very well for the Golden Kings, but he is possibly one of the best import players here in Japan.
I totally agree with you. But I think having him come off the bench, since he was not part of their lineup last year, they're looking for a little bit more of continuity. And so he wants Vic Law to be able to actually start to lead the second unit, which he has done quite well. So they have a very strong first five, and their bench play is also solid.
Well, Kishimoto currently with the 2 3-pointers, leading all scorers here for the defending champions. Nick Mayo, no surprise to see him top scorer. Remember the one time that the Hiroshima Dragonflies defeated the Golden Kings, Mayo did have 20 points, and you got to think tonight, well, especially throughout this series, Anthony, if they're going to come up with a championship, he's got to average between 20 and 30 points for them to be successful.
I totally agree. Let's see if that's exactly what's able to transpire here. But once again, you can see the Golden Kings going back to their bread and butter, their main man inside, Jack Cooley, and that has been a real recipe for success.
Well, Jack Cooley from the state of Illinois, Notre Dame University alumni versus Mayo inside the paint. Well, Mayo, of course, started in the Japanese B.LEAGUE in 2019 with the Chiba Jets. Also played one season with Hokkaido Levenga, but has since made a home for himself here in Hiroshima. And Kyle Milling, a lot of confidence. I think the referees will go to review this to find out who got the final touch. Well, head coach's challenge has been called by Kyle Milling, but Anthony, I got to say, that's good defense by Nick Mayo to come up with the block and avoid getting called for the foul.
Oh, definitely. And I think that came off, as you can see there, the forearm of Jack Cooley. And so they should be able to win this challenge. But, I really question the fact that, you call a challenge this early in the ball game. You might need that later on. And you can see it is coming off Jack Cooley. So they might get possession here. So they really need to be able to score to make this challenge worthwhile.
Just wondering as well, did Coach Kyle Milling call this coach's challenge for just preventing the Golden Kings from building early momentum? But you're absolutely right, Anthony. You want to save these for crucial points in the game. It could come to the final quarter. Who knows when there's a 50-50 on a decision. You may need this decision to go in your way.
Exactly. But again, so there are some coaches, their school of thought is they want to be able to show the referees that they did make a mistake and hopefully that they're going to get more calls down the line. But to me, you need to be able to hold on to that challenge, especially in the fourth quarter, especially if it's close.
A successful coach's challenge for the Dragonflies. Drawn by 8 points. They did finish the first quarter on a 5-0 run, and now they're looking to build on that momentum. As you mentioned, a bit of lack of movement, but trying to go to dribble handoff. Seafunyo finds Blackshear Jr. to penetrate, pump fakes. Just trying to the shooter's rolls. Nepawe fighting for the rebound. That's going to remain Dragonflies ball on the baseline.
And that's what Nepawe brings to the table. A lot of offensive rebounds, always battling for possession, getting them extra shots.
13 here on the shot clock. Hugh Watanabe checking into the game as well as played limited minutes for Daikatani's team here in the playoffs. Now we're on the 10. Mayo looking to isolate. I think a 3-second violation is going to be called here against the Dragonflies, and that is maybe they called a foul here. I'm not sure.
Well, that's been the problem with Nepawe sometimes, is because he's always trying to seal. He's always looking for offensive rebounding spots. He gets called every now and then. He's got to be very conscious of that. That's another wasted possession for the Dragonflies.
Golden Kings still here with the momentum, trying to build on this one. Led by as many as 13 is now Matsuwaki, who's made 1 3, makes another one. Well, Anthony, he has struggled from the perimeter here in the playoffs, but what a time to build your confidence.
Well, after you make one, all of a sudden, you can string all of those things in succession. And right now, Matsuwaki, knowing that his squad also has a comfortable lead, he just takes those shots so confidently.
And foul's going to be called against Hugh Watanabe, I believe. As you mentioned, they're trying to go with the post-up of Chilidze. Now, his nickname in university when he played in New Mexico was Chili. Of course, now that he's a naturalized Japanese player, goes by the last name of Kawata-san. But he's going to have to really fight because you know the Golden Kings, they're going to be brutal and physical with him in the paints. Blackshear Jr. spinning out, going in, doesn't get the foul. The rebound stumbling all over the floor, but the Dragonflies refusing to give up on it. And they'll get it back, and that's the kind of heart and hustle that Coach Kyle Milling wants to see from his players.
And that once again was Nepawe. Watch him here, making sure that his squad gets another possession. Normally, that's a sure-handed rebound there from Jack Cooley, but Nepawe, together with Blackshear all around him, he issues out that poor pass.
A good interception there coming from Vic Law. Golden Kings coming up with Hayato Maki. Matsuwaki's made 2 3, surely not 3. Maybe just a little too quick.
That was a heat check there from Matsuwaki.
Well, they're going to call an offensive foul now, Anthony. I wouldn't be surprised if they potentially review this one because...
They will, and he went down like a sack of potatoes, and I think Nepawe might be guilty here. Let's see it.
Look at the replay. It's tough to see from that angle, but it does look like he goes in deliberately with the left arm into the stern. Makuli. I believe the officials now will review this. Well, it's tough to see from that replay, but it did look like there was a bit. They're not going to go for a review. So a lead referee is referee Takaki Kato, who is a FIBA Basketball World Cup referee. Actually refereed this summer at the Mo Arena for the World Cup. Let's have a look at the replay here. Watch Nepawe. Well, that's clear as daylight to me. I don't think he's going to get away with that one.
He went straight into the body of Cooley. There's also a little extension there of the elbow. That should be an unsportsmanlike foul.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I think for that slowdown replay you do, it probably should just be an unsportsmanlike foul, but could it have been upgraded to a disqualifying foul? That's another question. I don't think so, but it's not far away in my mind.
Well, let's see how these referees interpret that. But yes, if it is called a disqualifying foul, you can actually agree with the referees also. But it's the playoffs, so hopefully they allow these players to play.
And of course, to all of our international viewers who have currently... Wow.
Ooh.
Very interesting decision.
I'm a bit surprised there.
Yeah.
And Coach Kyle Milling asking for a flop. That can't be a flop because you had a solid check to your sternum.
The question I was about to ask you after is I was going to tell everybody watching live here on YouTube how you are one of the great voices of the Philippine Basketball Association. And, you know, in the PBA, that would be a regular foul in my mind, be a hard foul. But in the international world of basketball, you can't get away with it. I am surprised that's not an unsportsmanlike foul.
I'm very surprised as well because they call things differently in the PBA because they don't use FIBA rules. But here in the B-League, they use FIBA rules, and that, as you said, could have been a disqualifying foul, but definitely should have been an unsportsmanlike foul.
Well, I'm going to have to give a phone call to head referee Takaki Kato to get his breakdown on that one because I'm very, very surprised, but the change has come into the game. So Ryo Yamazaki checking back in. Well, Vic Law currently at the free throw line here for the Golden Kings. I believe a technical was called, so that the one free throw has been nailed. 12-point lead currently to the Golden Kings. 8-12 left here in the second quarter.
Also because of that offensive foul, possession will go now to
was probably
the Golden Kings.
Arakawa also coming into the game now for the defending champions. Trying to penetrate down the middle. Finding Hayato Maki. Another foul's going to be called on the ground here. This one's against Nick Mayo, and at the moment, Anthony, the Dragonflies are picking up fouls quicker than parking tickets.
And the problem is Nick Mayo has got to be able to, if you ask me, he's got to front Jack Cooley, because once Jack Cooley gets that ball and you have Nick Mayo on your hip, he's just going to bring you down.
Still 12-1 lead. They're trying to isolate. Mid-range usually automatic, and no problem again. This guy's release is just too high. It's almost impossible to block.
And that is exactly what he brings. As you said, he is here to lead that second unit. And right now he's given them their biggest lead at 14.
Well, composure desperately needed here for the Dragonflies. Foul's going to be called on Arakawa, number 10 here for the Golden Kings. That's only going to be the second team foul against the defending champion, so a sideline possession coming up for Hiroshima. 7:32 to go here in the second quarter. And Anthony, I love the aggression, the double team coming on the sideline.
I don't think the Dragonflies have seen this much defensive pressure in the playoffs so far. The San Diego Phoenix, not a team to really be able to pressure you up high.
Top shot coming off the backboard. You made a very good point there because I still find interesting. This is going to be the third consecutive finals for Ryukyu Golden Kings. And on top of that, fair enough, it was only 6 more games this season in the ESL, but you got to look right now. Golden Kings don't look fatigued at the moment.
They look like they're the fresher team, and at the same time, they're buoyed here by their hometown fans. That's definitely a factor.
A turnover coming from Jack Cooley, and just see, of course, Golden Kings making their fans making the 3-hour flight from the beautiful island of Okinawa. Had the fortune of being there last year with one of your PBA colleagues, Anthony, Dean Kanito Henson. And let me tell you something, if you ever get a chance to go to Okinawa, go to the arena and watch the Golden Kings. It's one of the best arenas in the world of basketball. I mean, this arena, the Yokohama Arena, 17,000 seats, one of the biggest here in Japan. And of course, there's so many locations to pick a final. The All-Star Games in Okinawa, the finals here. You've also got the Tokyo Ariake Coliseum. There's too many, Anthony.
Oh, that's for sure. And, you know, that is part of my bucket list. Don't worry, Josh. I'm going to make all those trips soon.
We'll have to go together for sure, my friend. But foul has been called, so great job by Dwayne Evans. Going to the free throw line. Now remember, these two players, prior to coming to Japan, as I already mentioned, played for the same club at different times, but for the same coach. And that head coach is John Patrick of the Chiba Jets. And interestingly, Dwayne Evans actually spent the bulk of his career playing in Germany, one season in Italy before coming to Japan, and also played for the Ryukyu Golden Kings. So quite a very well-experienced international basketball player.
And he's trying to bring all that wealth of experience here, but he misses that free throw though. Again, critical here for Hiroshima to be able to make those free throws.
Well, he has not been able to get into that rhythm. You know, he's very much an ISO player, can play a multitude of positions. Probably the highlight of his career was making it to the FIBA Basketball Champions League Final Four in 2018. And at the moment, building that success. Two missed free throws, Anthony. That's not good.
Especially when you're trailing by 14. Those misses are magnified.
Okay, that's Omaki now. And this one to Arakawa. Arakawa just running into traffic, nowhere to go. That's clearly stepped through, and that's just way too easy. Biggest lead of the game now for the Golden Kings.
Again, you can see the patience of the Golden Kings getting it inside to Cooley. Cooley knew what time he had to work with and gets 2 points.
I mean, what's going on here with the Dragonflies? They're discombobulated on defense, no rhythm on offense. What is going to be the secret formula? And it doesn't help to them that Chili Nafawe, Kawata as we know him as, has 3 fouls.
Again, going back to their key for success is they really just have to slow down the game. They have a very good half-court set, but at the same time, look for the better shot more than anything else. But it seems like they're rushing things, both offensively and even defensively. When they blitz at the wrong time.
Of course, Tao Katani's players full rhythm right now, showing their experience. But yeah, there's also the fear and the threat here for the Golden Kings. They cannot get too complacent, too comfortable, because you know this team give the flowers. Of course, the Dragonflies, they've had to work hard to get to the finals. They're more than capable of making a run in the second half.
Well, there's no question about the capability, but again, if they continue to be able to take hurried shots, not the best of shots, they might not be able to close this gap, and they're just not going to win this ball game.
Coach Kyle Melling calling the timeout, trying to get his players to relax into a rhythm. And there's one player who just hasn't been able to find his way in this game. Same with Isaiah Murphy. I mean, Murphy is very much a glue player, keeps his team together. But they need somebody to step in and step up. This is the finals. Now's not the time to go missing. Nakamura here in the backcourt, trying to run a pick and roll with Ken Blackshear Jr. Now going down low to Evans. He's had the mismatch. Dragonflies passing the ball around, trying to get some good offense, but again, the help side defense from Alex Kirk making it impossible, Anthony.
Well, with Alex Kirk there as the last line of defense here, once again, a broken possession. As far as defense is concerned, you've got to go back down. There was no transition defense whatsoever, and made to pay, once again, are the Dragonflies.
Well, it's all Golden Kings here at the moment. You know, one thing you've got to be impressed with, their defense, but also converting every Dragonflies turnovers into a transition bucket. But what's more frightening, they're converting into transition run and gun three-pointers.
That's what's going to happen. Take your pick. You could have actually had an easy layup, but they opted to go for the open three. And that's why that lead is now at 19.
Evans penetrates. Ken Blackshear Jr. offensive rebound, second chance points. There's a way they can mentally and emotionally try to stay in this game. Go for as many offensive boards as possible. Colin here in the backcourt. Aggressive defense coming, but again, that's much better. And Anthony, you gotta love the aggressive show coming from Dwayne Evans, forcing Arakawa to throw it away.
That's actually one of the very few turnovers that we've seen here from the Golden Kings. That's only turnover number 3. They've taken very good care of the basketball. Actually, so has Hiroshima, because Hiroshima only also with just 3 TOs.
Well, Durham, of course, coming in to play power forward alongside Alex Kirk. And you know, one thing I do love about the B-League, they do have the very old tradition of having your bigs very much at their roles inside the paint. Now, we do know most of the power forwards can step out on the perimeter, but sometimes, especially if you watch Alvok Tokyo this playoff season, there's some very big lineups you'll see. Not a lot of small ball played here in the B-League. Very, very physical inside the paints. Find Murphy in the corner. This one's wide open. He's not able to convert. He is able to convert. And that's much needed 3 points for the Dragonflies. And a timeout's going to be called by Diakatani. Well, here was the kick out there to Isaiah Murphy, just hitting the back iron and getting the lucky drop on it. And those fans making the long journey from Hiroshima here to Yokohama. Right now, you can feel the anxiety from them, but they've got to believe. Only Chilidze Kawata currently in foul trouble with 3 fouls, so that's going to put a lot of pressure on the front court to make sure they play heavy minutes going into the second half. But, you know, Anthony, you can start to see a little bit more composure here with the Hiroshima Dragonflies.
Well, again, as I said, we have to ask them to slow things down because they don't need to rush things. They're in this ball game, though they're down big, but there's still an entire second half to be played. And in fact, we even have a full 5 minutes to be played here in the second. So there definitely is time, but they've got to play their brand of basketball. But right now, they're falling into the hands of rushing their shots, taking the shots that they're not used to taking. And at the same time, unfortunately for them, those open shots that have been given to them, they're not dropping.
Well, perfect case in point. You mentioned this very well, and this three-pointer coming from Hayatomaki was they turned the ball over, but they didn't make enough effort to get back on defense. And that has got to be something they changed in the second half. You know, it's a big turnaround since last season here for the Dragonflies. Remember, they lost in the first round to the Chiba Jets after winning game 1 on the road. But for a team to go out of the quarterfinals so hastily and to make it to the finals shows you they've got the minerals, the championship DNA. But one thing they don't have here against the Golden Kings, the experience and the championship DNA itself.
You can see those gentlemen there on your screens. Imamura together with Kishimoto have not played heavy minutes here, and still their squad is up by 14.
A bit of full court pressure coming from the Dragonflies. Golden Kings trying to break it down. Matsuaki trying to isolate baseline. 7 here on the shot clock. Matsuaki's got to make a choice quickly. Finds Durham. He'll fire a 3-point. This one's up, and that's just way off the mark. And that's better defense by the Hiroshima Dragonflies.
So now they got the defensive stop. They got to look for a good shot down on the offensive end to further cut into this lead. Let's see if that's what they do.
It's got to be possession by possession. Evans got it here by Alex Cook. Something another 5-0 run, but can they build it a little bit bigger? Evans got it here by Durham. Not going to win that post battle. Trying to pull up for 15. Final moments, and again, they just weren't able to build a better shot. I mean, the ball movement was there, but the percentage wasn't high enough on the take, Anthony.
What they have to do is they've got to get into their offense a little earlier. So what happened there was Evans was forced to take that hurried shot. But if they went into it a little sooner, Evans might have been able to make an extra move or two.
Well, the problems could go from bad to worse because the big guns have come in here for the Golden Kings. Clearly, along with Kishimoto, Imamura is going to remain on the bench.
Daiyo Kitani has really shuffled that bench of his so well. All of his players are fresh.
That's something we've seen throughout the playoffs. And also, Naoki Tashido, who has played limited minutes, is going to make his debut here in the finals. Durham looking to ISO. Bobs in the lane against Dwayne Evans. That's good defense.
So once again, they get a stop talking about the Dragonflies. Can they score, though, to further cut into this lead? That has been their question mark.
Well, foul's going to be called here against Richie Kishimoto. That's something the Dragonflies have got to try to manipulate a little bit more. But this is good for them because they will go to the free throw line, but they just haven't gone to the charity stripe enough here tonight. But, you know, Evans, last trip at this, we saw miss both free throws.
So far, no free throw hits yet by the Dragonflies. They are 0 for 3. Not to mention the fact that Evans has not yet also scored in the ball game, which is very surprising.
Well, of course, it's the old cliche. You don't want to look back and think the outcome could have been different had you made all your free throws. Evans is able to finally hit the first charity strike shot here for the Dragonflies this evening. Potentially could cut this down to a 12-point ball game with 3:36 to go here in the first half. And that's his first point, actually, as you mentioned it, Anthony. Dwayne Evans now, can he build on this momentum? It's been a tough first half for him and the Dragonflies. Golden Kings again, slowly breaking down the full court pressure. They remain ahead by double digits. 12-point cushion for the defending champions. Kishimoto now trying to dissect the defense. A little too quick, and the Dragonflies come up with it. Remember, any more fouls, they'll go to the free throw line. Nice transition, finds Murphy, but he misses the layup.
Boy, those are the shots they need to be able to make. That would have cut it down to 10.
It's been a 7-0 run here, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Jack Cooley.
That was clear. Seems like right now the Golden Kings, Josh, are rushing things a little bit now. It's very surprising because they were very methodical in the early part of this ball game.
Well, this is remember when I said to you at the end, the last time on actually, Golden Kings have the momentum. They've got everything on their side. History, they've got the experience. But there is that point where you got to say, you don't want to get too comfortable because Dragonflies, this is a hungry team. They're just like the Golden Kings back in 2022. This is their first finals. They're here to make a bit of noise. And you can't keep them down forever.
Good target here for the Golden Kings is to be able to have a stop here. On the other side, the Dragonflies want to be able to continue this run going. Cut it down even further. That's not a good
by
possession.
Kishimoto. And that's one thing we got to give this team a lot of credit for, Anthony, especially in the Alvok Tokyo series defensively. They came big in some crucial games. I'm looking for the ISO here with Vic Law. Inside the paint, turns around. He'll draw the foul. He'll go to the free throw line. No more fouls for the Dragonflies to give away here for 2:26.
That's good recognition there by the offense of the Golden Kings. Seeing the mismatch and going right to it.
Well, that's going to be something the Dragonflies defensively are going to have to figure out because you cannot have that situation where Takuto Nakamura has been defending Vic Law inside the paints. Well, Vic Law currently the free throw line here for the Golden Kings. The man, as I mentioned, briefly did play for the Orlando Magic in the NBA, but made the journey out to the far lands of Australia to play 1 year in the NBL. And joined the Chiba Jets last season. He makes both free throws. Now, of course, Anthony, if you are the Hiroshima Dragonflies, you got to set yourself a little target here in 2:26. I mean, the ultimate goal, you got to get it down to single digits going into the halftime break.
That's for sure. And they were actually well on their way to doing it, but a couple of botched possessions stalled that rally of theirs.
Blackshear Jr. penetrates to get a kick out. Another ball reversal. Three's no good, but a big offensive rebound by Nick Mayo. I said Frino just a little too short. Nothing dropping here for the Dragonflies. Onodera trying to finish, goes in under intense pressure. And Dio Katani calling for the M1. But the referee happy to let play continue.
That was a big swing there. That really could have cut it down even further. Once again, just not being able to hit those outside shots. And here's another live turnover.
Well, the deliberate foul was made by Kerry Blackshear Jr. at half court. And I'd say that's a good foul just to slow down the transition. But the problem is, where it's not a good foul, it's going to send Alan Durham to the free throw line.
That's going to be two easy shots here for Allen. There was some contact there, but this is the playoffs. And so the referee is saying you got to be even tougher than you have been all throughout the season.
Well, that's exactly what I was just going to say. I think I agree with Tai's frustrations, but as you mentioned, not only the playoffs, it's the finals now because you're up against a team, and as the late, great Kobe Bryant would say, it's much harder to defend the championship than it is to initially win it. But right now, I sound like a broken record, Anthony. Golden Kings, they don't look tired. They look fresh.
Well, having a 17-point lead can actually buoy your entire demeanor. And so far, it looks like because they got off to a great start in that first period, they led already by 13 at 24-11. They even haven't looked back since.
In the 90 seconds here in the first half. Dragonflies again. Suns is back up to 18. Trying to find something here on the perimeter. Time's wanted down. Now from 1 foot, Congan just rolls its way in and out. When Derek comes up with a loose ball.
That was an unfortunate miss. That was halfway down there for Mayo.
Kishimoto dissecting down the defense. Finds Alex Cook. One more pass to Alan Durham. Down inside the paint goes up. And Anthony, at the moment, it's way too easy here for the Golden Kings.
It was very close to bringing it down to a 10-point margin, but suddenly it's back up to 20. This is now the biggest lead in the ball game for the Golden Kings.
Dragonflies at the moment, no identity here on offense, but that's something desperately needed coming from Kerry Blackshear Jr. Consistency has been an issue, and now a timeout is going to be called by Dio Katani with 34.3 seconds left here in the second quarter. And of course, the momentum, as we mentioned, the tempo being played at such a high level here from the Ryukyu Golden Kings. And so far, only Kerry Blackshear Jr. leading the scoring here for the Hiroshima Dragonflies with 7 points. Classic case. Somebody's got to step up. Somebody's got to make a big play. And Anthony, these players at halftime, they need to look into the mirror and say, listen, this is the finals. We got knocked out in the quarterfinals last season. We've worked so hard to get here. We've got to make something happen.
One of the missing links, as far as I'm concerned, is Ryu Yamazaki. He's one of those gunners that can really open up the floor, and if he's able to hit those threes, that's going to have a lot of more space here for Blackshear, Evans, even Nepawe and Mayo to be able to operate inside. But if he's not hitting, you can see the defense right now of the Golden Kings packing it inside.
Well, you got to love the spirit of the fans coming in here. We got fans in the neon color representing the Hiroshima Dragonflies, and the fans coming from the beautiful island of Okinawa. Live here at the Yokohama Arena, 17,000 capacity sold out arena tonight. But at the moment, you can only hear the cheering coming from one end of the stadium, and that is coming from the fans from Okinawa. 18-point lead, excuse me. But the good thing here for the Dragonflies, if they get a stop on defense, the 2-for-1 can be on for them.
But knowing Coach Daya Okitani, he's going to go for the better shot. He'll use the entire shot clock.
9 seconds difference between game and shot clock here for the Golden Kings. He still keeps his dribble alive, finds Kishimoto. Kishimoto saw that somebody in the accredited media zone was wide open. That was just a little too hard.
Too hard for sure. There was no way anybody, even Alex Kirk at 7 foot, will be able to make that play. Good substitutions here. You don't want your world imports to pick up any cheap fouls here in the final seconds.
Larakawa and Hugh Watanabe coming into the game here for the Ryukyu Golden Kings. While Toshiki Kamisawa also coming to the game along with Takuto Nakamura for the Hiroshima Dragonflies. 11.7 seconds left here in the first half. Dragonflies trying to go for that 2-for-1. The absence of Ryo Terashima does make them a little bit thin in the backcourt. There's a penetration. Kicks out, finds a wide open three. It's up, and again, no good. Well, the execution was there, Anthony, but at the end of the first half, indeed, the defending champions lead this one by 18 points, 43-25 against the Hiroshima Dragonflies, their debut in the B-League Finals. But so far, Anthony, it's only been one direction.
Well, actually, this has been a game of runs. Actually, a very good run started out by the Ryukyu Golden Kings. They opened up a 13-point lead, as you mentioned a while ago, at 24-11. That was in the first period. And then, suddenly, an 8-0 blast put together here by the Dragonflies cut them to within almost 10 points. It was at 12. And then, suddenly, another big run to end this half put together by the Golden Kings. And that's why they're in command of this ball game.
Well, of course, game one here of the 2023-24 Japanese B.LEAGUE Finals. Currently, the defending champions have the lead. Well, basketball fans, it is halftime. We are going to take a break, and we will return. I'm your commentator, Josh Bennett, alongside Anthony Suntai. And as we mentioned, go get something to drink, go get something to eat, but don't go anywhere too long, as we will be back for the second half of game one of the finals.
Good job, everybody. Trust your teammates. Good job.
対戦するはアスリートライブでご覧いただきます。みんなで日本代表を応援しよう。
ずっと続く幸せってなんだろう。これから僕は会いに行く。全国に7万人いる一斉の人たち。誰もがずっと安心して暮らせる社会を目指して、未来にちょっと先回りして力を合わせているらしい。日清の日清サステナプロジェクト始まる。日本生命。
Well, welcome back, basketball fans. It's about to be the second half of the B.LEAGUE 2024 finals here between the Ryukyu Golden Kings and the Hiroshima Dragonflies. But currently, it is an 18-point lead to the defending champions. Well, the Golden Kings coming out to a good start, of course, controlling the tempo of this game, getting some good looks from the perimeter. And so far, they've made life very difficult here for the visitors. It is indeed the first time the Dragonflies have played in a B.LEAGUE final. And at the moment, they are being tested very early on here. Low scoring coming from Nick Mayo and, of course, this man right here. But they need to find other ways to get into this game in the perimeter shots. They've had some good looks. The consistency has been the issue tonight here for Hiroshima. Many of these players at the moment trying to find their identity in this game. They've got lots of areas that they need to work on. Kishimoto, of course, getting some assistance from the backcourt. Matsuwaki, who has struggled from the perimeter here in the playoffs. 2 3-pointers so far from him. And that infamous game 1 where he played against Alvak Tokyo, coming off the bench ice cold, missing the free throws. That could have won the game early, but he has been a factor. The offensive rebounding coming from this man, Kerry Blackshear Jr. Isaiah Murphy getting the lucky drop. And Dragonflies fans, they still hold on with a bit of hope. Still trying to maintain that belief that they can come back. But look at the transition play coming from Ryukyu Golden Kings. Finding Onodera, finishing under intense pressure. Well, that's been the key issue so far. Consistency and developing that defensive mindset with a team who is fresh here for the B.LEAGUE finals. Without Rio Hiroshima. Well, of course, Hokkaido Lavenga's very own there on the left. Now coming into the commentary booth tonight here for the B.LEAGUE finals. And that's been a good part of the B.LEAGUE, of course. Players doing a variety of multitude of roles. But here are the statistics from the first half so far. Well, 7 3-pointers coming from the Ryukyu Golden Kings. Now go back to the first game of the playoffs when they played against Alvak Tokyo. They only hit 2 3-pointers in the first half of game 1, but in the second half, they finished with 7. They came up with an impressive victory. One, Richie Kishimoto making that 3-pointer to win the game.
Well, Josh, you can see what really stands out here is the field goal shooting. From 2-point distance, you can see 61% as compared to just 21%. That's from 2. And then when you look at the 3-point percentage, scintillating 58% shooting by the Golden Kings as compared to just 35%. 35% is actually pretty good, but you cannot shoot 21% from 2-point distance if you want to win a ball game.
Well, that's a very good point you made there, Anthony. Another thing I wanted to ask you, everybody in the international world, especially in the B.LEAGUE, knows that the Golden Kings are one of the best rebounding teams. But you look at it, it's even on the rebounds, and Dragonflies, they have 7 more offensive rebounds than the Golden Kings. Now, granted, the Golden Kings, they've shot better from the field, but that's a statistic we would have anticipated would have gone in favor of the Golden Kings.
That's very surprising as far as I'm concerned. But again, you know, you can match the team rebounding-wise, so you can see that the energy is there. But the problem is they're just not making those open shots, especially here for guys like Yamazaki. Nakamura has actually missed a couple. Even Seiya Funyu has missed a couple of chippies. So these are the shots that need to go down if you want to be able to be competitive. That's why from a 19-point lead, it was actually 35-16, a good run put together by the Dragonflies. But then suddenly, their outside shooting once again went cold. Even their shooting from the inside, if you remember, Evans missed a dunk. And so those are the kind of shots that really have to go down if you want to be able to win this ball game. And suddenly, from a 19-point lead, they brought it down to 12. And then suddenly, it went back up to 20 at 43-23. And so those are the kind of runs you have to be able to stop if you're the Dragonflies.
Well, if you are new to B.LEAGUE basketball, this indeed is the 8th final of the B.LEAGUE, the culmination of combining, 2 professional leagues that did exist in Japan, the Japanese Basketball League and the Basketball Japan League. Of course, the B.LEAGUE has only been won by 4 teams: Utsunomiya Brex, Alvak Tokyo, Chiba Jets. Now, of course, Ryukyu Golden Kings, who are now looking to become the second only team to win consecutive championships. Well, Anthony, one problem here for Coach Kyle Milling. Chili Nafawe Kawata currently does have 3 fouls. So when do you bring him back in the game?
I think you just go with your regular rotation, similar to what he has been doing all throughout the playoffs, actually all throughout the conference, really. So Nepawi will come in at about the 7-minute mark of the third period. So it really shouldn't be a bother because at least you enter now the third period just with 3 fouls, but he cannot pick up a quick one. If he does pick up a quick one, he's back onto the bench.
Lima Moore didn't play in the second quarter. Now he does come back into the lineup, and that's not a good start for the Dragonflies. They need to take care of the basketball. The Golden Kings again looking to extend on the pressure. Kishimoto's made 2 threes.
Wasn't able to set his feet properly that time, hence the miss.
Another chance to crack at it. They've got to take it possession by possession. Mayo got it by Onodera. Tries to force his way in, but nothing dropping here at the moment.
And that's a matchup that Nick Mayo needs to be able to win. If he's up against a local, he needs to be able to score.
There's darn bit of strength in there, and he goes in, gets you at one. And Anthony, you talked about strength. Nobody does it better than this man. You know, for the fans watching, what was it like seeing him and calling those games when he played in the PBA? I mean, he played for 2 teams, Barako Bull Energy, the former team, and also more notably for the Morocco Bolts.
Actually, when he was with Barako Bull, he wasn't as dominant as he was when he actually went over to the Morocco Bolts. So he was a more complete player when he eventually went to Morocco playing under Coach Norman Black, and they were really able to fully utilize his potential.
Converts the 3-point play. Biggest lead of the game now here for the Ryukyu Golden Kings. The Dragonflies want to make this competitive finals. They've got to find ways to stay in this game.
They've got to start chipping away little by little.
Well, contested 3, but again, that's going to be something they've got to try and build on.
And that's what we were talking about a while ago. Rio needs to be able to hit those shots in order to free things up for his other teammates inside that shaded area. That could be a start.
Look at the switch on defense. Another double team comes. Now they find a wide open Imamura. He'll fire. 2 mysteries coming from the Golden Kings. Can Dragonflies push this one? Circles around the defense.
You can see Nakamura trying to force the action. But again, Nick Mayo not able to deliver inside that paint.
That's interesting. They got the ball down low to Nick Mayo, but Mayo made the contact. But as you mentioned, Anthony, this is the finals. They need to play a bit better, but now they come up with a steal. 3-on-2 here for Hiroshima, but they don't take advantage.
There were more than a few shots that were halfway down, but they're just not falling for them here at the Yokohama Arena.
Well, that's a tough one there for the Dragonflies, Anthony, because they come up with a steal. Now, here's the play where I mentioned. I take back what I said. That's good defense by Durham, but the previous play, you get a 3-on-2, you've got to take advantage quickly.
Which they didn't. They look like they're a little bit hesitant on the fast break, which they shouldn't be. They should go straight to the basket. And a lot of those hesitations have really led to this big lead.
It's also very unfamiliar territory here in the playoffs for the Golden Kings because most of the games they played, they have actually trailed at halftime as Durham tries to go inside the paint. That's going to be a backcourt violation. No, took a deflection. Let's take that back.
They got a brand new 14 to work with. Look at the patience once again.
Durham goes in, can't get it. Getting the offensive rebound, still can't put it back.
Look at that relentless rebounding here from Jack Cooley.
Well, they've had their backs up against the wall, Anthony. It's been the relentless offensive rebounding that has saved them here in the playoffs. And now Evans, can he get the drop? And this one goes off the backboard. And that one will count for Dwayne Evans.
That could settle Dwayne Evans down a little bit here. They need his scoring, but at the same time, if he seems to be all around the place, it's not going to help them out. That's a very, very poor gamble.
Kishimoto got it in the corner, went baseline, and that's an interesting one. I have to look at the replay here on the foul because was the contact made when he was in his 1-2 step? That's what I want to know.
No, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see it. But once again, Kishimoto looking to try to reestablish another 21-point edge for their squad.
We talk about the teams they had to go through here in the playoffs and go to that bracket. You had Utsunomiya Brex against the Chiba Jets, Golden Kings against Alvak Tokyo. But the series that really tested Kishimoto is when he had to go up against Yuki Togashi in the semifinals against the Chiba Jets. Those 2 point guards, very similar positions and both lightning quick. But remember, it's Togashi's the first ever $1 million player, but he's also the #1 option for Tama Vast in the Japanese national team.
I totally enjoyed that particular matchup, having Kishimoto up against Togashi. And I think that really was able to sharpen his claws here for today. In this matchup he's had.
That's going to be a tough defensive play there for Dwayne Evans, trying to match up against Jack Cooley. But you look at Kishimoto, and for many of our Filipino fans watching, there's a replay of the foul. Now, I can see it from that angle. I agree with the official, but you look at his game. For all of our Filipino fans, and Anthony, I'm going to throw this question at you because you are one of the infamous voices of the PPA. Does his game remind you of Jimmy Alapag, or does it remind you of Jason Castro?
That's a good question. I could say it's a combination of both. But both those actually, even if you're a combination of both, I guess, that's going to make you a terrific player. But both those guards, tremendous individual players. And they've brought so many championships to the TNT Tropangiga.
Well, for all of our international fans, if you're unfamiliar with Jimmy Alapag, he's currently an assistant coach in the NBA with the Sacramento Kings. And Jason Castro, Anthony, I don't think he's going to retire probably within the next 10, 20 years. It just seems like he continues to keep on playing.
Well, he actually was just able to renew his contract, so he's good for another 2 years. But, I totally agree with you. They call him the Blur, and so far he has still been a blur to all his opponents. He has not slowed down, even at his advanced age.
Just under 5.5 to go here in the third quarter. 18-point ball game.
Wow, some color developing here between Blackshear and Durham.
Well, Kerry Blackshear, before coming to Japan last season, did play in Turkey for Galatasaray. And I can tell you right now, he's probably not the one player. And listen, neither of these players are the kind of ones you want to get into a face-off. But when you do see them get into that scuffle, it's one of those you think, who's going to get the mental advantage? Because they're just incredibly tremendous basketball players, and they are tough as nails.
Well, Blackshear is going to be called for the offensive foul there. So another turnover. You cannot commit those silly turnovers, especially when you're trying to come down from an 18-point deficit.
Imamura trying to go to the ball screen action here with Jack Cooley. Pulls up for a tough three, hand his face, but again, this guy simply will line it up from the perimeter.
When Imamura is on target, it's going to be very difficult to stop this squad. He was struggling after that particular stage. Now that he hit the big three, things just could start to open up for him as well.
A bit of concern there is Takuto Nakamura. I'm not sure what's happened, but he's going to have to go to the bench. So Seifunyo, who usually is a regular starter here for the Dragonflies, did come off the bench today. He's going to check into the game. And that's a bit of a worrying sign for Coach Kyle Milling.
Well, they've tried their very best here in this period, but they just can't seem to make any headway. Talking about the Dragonflies. They've only scored 7 points here in the third. That's not a good sign.
Seifunyo coming off one screen. Down the middle. Tries to split the defense, but he throws this one away. Now the Golden Kings. It's fair to say they have just been too dominant here in this game. For the B.LEAGUE Finals. Remember, they lost in 2022 to Utsunomiya Brex. They won last season against the Jets, and now they're looking to defend their championship. More pump fake, steps to another three. Dara's unable to get the rebounds.
You got to stop talking to the Dragonflies. Now you need to score. Get into your offense. But again, look, just no movement whatsoever. It's been one-on-one hero basketball.
Credit as well to the Golden Kings defense. Clear mismatch for Kishimoto, making himself a nuisance on defense. Now Imamura Deja vu, same play, same result, same closeout, same hand in his face, and same thing. 3 points for Keita Imamura. Anthony, it's fair to say right now, it's lights out. Golden Kings, they are in total control.
You can see the ball movement. A while ago in the previous possession, offensive possession of Dragonflies, only 2 players moved the ball and it stayed on the strong side. You have to be able to make the defense work, similar to what we saw in this offensive pattern. Look at this. Nothing working, and on the other end, look at that tremendous ball movement. Open 3, and you cannot leave Imamura that wide open, that long.
If there's any comparison I can give this Golden Kings to right now, it's Houston Rockets of 1994-95. Off the back of defending a championship, a lower seed in the playoffs, and they've had to go through some tough tests. And we mentioned this already. They had to take on Alvok Tokyo, heavy favorites this season here in the playoffs, and then they had to go up against Chiba Jets, who they met in the finals. Both series went to Game 3 thrillers, and now they're in the finals against an inexperienced team like the
that they had a tougher road leading here to the finals. So it was imperative for them to have a very good start, which they were able to get. And then at the same time, it was coupled also by the bad shooting by the Dragonflies to start out this ball game. So they were able to build a comfortable advantage. And right now, all they're doing is really just protecting that lead. So the onus once again is on the Dragonflies. They have to push the action, but they've got to do it smart.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And, you know, one thing you've got to think as well, it's all about pride here for the Dragonflies because, you know, most teams, they come to the finals, they come with, you know, that energy, that adrenaline. And right now, it just looks like it's soul-searching here for Hiroshima.
They need to score here. That's not going to help their cause.
Coming up with an offensive rebound to try three-pointer, and that one's beautifully tucked away. Now they need to do it down the other end.
And that's what Ryu can do. Hit that open shot. He needs to be consistent with that, not just today, but in the entire series, if they want to have any chance of winning.
Going trying to look for good lure inside the paint. Good anticipation by Seifunyo. Comes up with a steal. But can they push this one quickly? You mentioned, Anthony, transition basketball hasn't been a key factor tonight here for Hiroshima.
Another thing to interestingly note is we have not yet seen Silid Senepawe back in the ball game. Usually comes in at about the 6-7 minute mark. He has yet to be fielded in here by the Dragonflies and Coach Kyle Milling.
And there was the offensive rebound by Isaiah Murphy. And, you know, we did say at the end of the first half when we saw a few plays from Kerry Blackshear Jr. going in for those second chances, you know, it's about pride now. You're being tested, you're being beaten quite heavily. You've got to go in for every extra effort. They did win the offensive rebound count at the end of the first half, but they must continue now. Chile comes back into the game for the Dragonflies.
I think what's been happening is Chile comes in when you have Alex Kirk in the ball game as well. So that's the matchup that Coach Kyle Milling is looking at as Blackshear hits that shot to bring his squad a little closer.
5-0 run at the moment here for the Dragonflies. Second unit currently in the lineup here for the Golden Kings, apart from the likes of Garam and Imamura. Imamura's missed his last two, but this time again over Kerry Blackshear Jr. 3 threes here in the third quarter for Keita Imamura.
He just hit 2 threes. How do you give him that much space to operate? But here's Evans with a quick hit the other way.
That's exactly what you alluded to, Anthony. If you play quickly, try to catch the Golden Kings off guard, get inside the paint. Who knows, maybe you reward yourself with a three-point play, and that's exactly what Dwayne Evans has done.
But at this stage, you cannot trade baskets. You need stops. You need to get it down to a more manageable deficit to give yourself a chance in the fourth. Yes, there's still a lot of basketball to be played, a full 10 minutes in the fourth. But you got to cut this 20-point deficit down to at least 12.
I like what we just saw there. We just saw the Golden Kings behind the basket trying to put off Dwayne Evans' free throw with posters of Dai Okatani's face. How brilliant is that? Good defense coming from the Kings, forcing them into another turnover. This is where they've got to build this. I mean, Dragonflies, excuse me, man, there's the reach, but there's a double team. Forcing Imamura to pass it back court, so little by little, again, it's all about the pride factor. They've got to give their fans a bit of belief going into game two. It's not over, but it's definitely a big mountain to climb back from.
Again, not a very good offensive set. Nepal is going to get them another offensive rebound and another possession. But again, you can see the ball just not moving from whichever side of the floor they try to make their attack from.
Of course, because they forced a turnover from the half-court set, it wasn't a reset of the 24, but as you mentioned, just not a very organized half-court set from the Dragonflies. As Evans thinks about the three, this time he takes it. That's just way off the mark, but another offensive board, and the foul goes up. He got finish. And good defense by Vic Law.
So many offensive possessions. Can Funyu knock this one down? Eventually they do. So the fourth time is a charm.
The 24-point lead has been cut down to 16 as Diakatani calls timeout. 92 seconds to go here in the third quarter. This game far from done. And you can see Nafawi comes into the game. All of a sudden, the offense is a little bit different. You can see they're just a little bit more hungry, Anthony.
That's what they need. They're down. So you really have to be able to force the action. But again, as I said, play smart, look for the better shot, and say Funyu there, left wide open for that three. Those are the shots they need to play. That's the kind of effort you need to be able to do. If you had 100% effort a while ago, it's got to be at 150% right now.
And of course, that's what these fans want to see. They've made the journey from Hiroshima here to the beautiful city just north of Tokyo, here in Yokohama. This is one thing you have to appreciate about B.LEAGUE basketball, Anthony. We have been covering this league now for 4 years. There is never an empty seat in the building. In every game we cover, there's always fans traveling with the visiting team that come to support. And, you know, it's not just 10, 20. Sometimes it's 100, 200 fans that made a journey.
Well, it's nice to say that the Japanese now love their basketball. Initially, they loved their baseball, they loved their football. But right now, basketball is one of the fastest growing sports here in Japan. And you can see every single B.LEAGUE game, almost no empty seats. And this, of course, is the finals. And so, these are the hottest tickets in town.
And full court pressure has caused the Golden Kings a few issues, but now they patiently break it down. Imamura hesitates, goes inside the lane off the backboard, can't get it. Slowly but surely, the Dragonflies trying to get back into this one.
You just got to be patient. Not force the issue. That's better ball movement.
It's not a bad offense, of course. They did get a good look, but now they got to get back on defense. And you can see they're building their confidence possession by possession.
It's fluidity they're looking for. They were a little bit more fluid there. Just not getting the basket. Quick three! Wow!
That kind of kills any prospect of a comeback as Hayato Maki nailing the three-pointer. 19-point lead extended here for the Golden Kings, defending champions. Trying to do what Alvok Tokyo did in both 2018 and 19. Blackshear Jr. again forcing the effort. He gets his own rebound. But Funyu is not going to try to take on Alan Durham.
They needed that basket.
Final seconds here for the Golden Kings. Durham finds Vic Law. Law ISO pulls up off the dribble. Usually he makes those shots, but he won't mind at the moment. 19-point lead to the Golden Kings as we head into the final 10 minutes here in Game 1 of the 2023-24 B.LEAGUE Finals. We're live here in Yokohama. Well, you said it, Anthony. It's been a game of runs, but the problem right now here for the Dragonflies, the inexperience is showing because they just cannot seem to display any consistency in their play.
Well, the second quarter has been the big quarter here so far here in game number 1. As you can see, the Dragonflies only scoring 9 points when they yielded 19 points to their opponents. here in the third period, not so bad. They were able to stay in step. They scored 18, but the thing was the Golden Kings scored 19, so they added another point to their already big lead.
Well, final 10 minutes of play, and we're right where we began at the beginning of the second half, excuse me. You know, we talked about this as well. Hiroshima, his absence really has affected this team. I mean, look, if you compare the route of how these two teams got to the finals, it's no argument whatsoever. The Golden Kings have had the tougher test. That's not to take anything away from San Antonio Phoenix or the Nagoya Diamond Dolphins. We're talking about the teams with the championship experience. But now you can see when you're up against the defending champions and you don't have your number one choice point guard, well, it's going to be a long mountain to climb here, especially not here in Game 1, but also in Game 2 for that matter.
That's true. But again, you know, as far as the Dragonflies are concerned, they know that they've had some open shots. They just weren't able to knock it down. They're getting some defensive stops, but they got to string it in succession. They're still in this ball game. There's a lot of time still to be played here, an entire fourth quarter. So as far as they're concerned, yes, they're down by 19, but if they continue to chip away, they still can be able to steal this one. But we're gonna see right now just how tested the resolve is going to be here.
One issue I find with the Dragonflies, and the question I keep asking is, who is the primary ball handler? Who is the floor general, the facilitator? Because sometimes you see the balls in the hands of Dwayne Evans. Sometimes it's in the hands of Kerry Blackshear Jr. They need Hiroshima. They don't have him. They need somebody else to fill that role tonight.
But you know, Nakamura has done quite well. I've been able to follow him all throughout here in the championship, in what they call the playoffs in the B.LEAGUE, and he's done quite well in place of Hiroshima. But here today, he's just been ineffective. Let's see if he can pick up the slack. He, together with Yamasaki, I feel are real keys.
It's now or never for these two players, especially in the backcourt at the moment. They must find a way collectively, the synergy they got to build here in the backcourt.
Again, look at the two-point field goal shooting, Josh, of the Dragonflies entering the third period. They're shooting a dismal 25%, which is 8 out of 32. And again, that's from inside the arc.
That's something Kyle Milling's got to think about going into Game 2, because it's not that they can't play at a high tempo, but you know, if they try to go a little bit quicker in transition, try to catch the Golden Kings off guard, maybe that's something they could definitely improve in Game 2. I mean, the backs are going to be up against the wall. You've got to find other ways to win, for sure.
That's an open shot. It's not going to drop. Another big rebound here for Cooley. Golden Kings are going to look for the knockout blow as early as they possibly can here in the fourth.
If it does stay like this in Game 2, no team has had an easier ride here in the finals. That's good defense by Nafawi, but Matsuwaki is going to get called for the foul. Let's have a look at the replay here.
Will Coach Dai want to challenge this? Ooh, he looked like he got the ball even before he made contact.
And Matsuwaki, as always, beautiful smile on his face. He's going to just laugh that one off. And now Dragonflies. And it's all about pride here in these final minutes. No roll to the basket by Nafawi. Set the ball screen. He's going to ISO. Too strong off the backboard. Gets his own rebound. Anthony, does he get the 2 points, the assist, and the rebound?
Definitely not. But he's going to get the 2 points and the rebound. That's for sure. But as you said, he should have been rolling to the basket immediately. He's not the kind of player that can really hit it from the outside. It can't be a pick and pop whenever it's Nepawe.
Nepawe was brought into this team due to the injury at the beginning of the season to Kai Soto. Matsuwaki, after making 2 threes, has missed his last 4 at the moment. Another offensive rebound here for the defending champions. Matsuwaki tries another one. Again, it's the same story. The same thing going on here for the Golden Kings. Dragonflies will be killing themselves here in the fourth quarter. Again, nothing changing, Anthony. The ball goes out of bounds.
But you can see all those 50-50 balls 80% of the time have been going to the Golden Kings. In fact, even the long rebounds, they're much quicker to the ball. But they're supposed to be, as we talked about, the more tired team. Doesn't seem like it.
Well, Jack Cooley, no doubt, has probably made himself the very best rebounder here in the B-League. Just his tenacity, his hunger. I mean, he just wants it a little bit more than everyone else. Of course, he's not only a B-League champion, he's also a European Continental champion, Jack Cooley, because he won the 2019 FIBA Europe Cup with Dinamo Sassari. Blackshear Jr. looking to ISO. Penetrates, gets rejected. Good help side defense coming from Vic Law. But a foul has been called. Well, that's going to be his fourth foul, Anthony. That could be a problem here for the Dragonflies. There was 7 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Game 1 of the B-League Finals. Now Vic Law goes quickly from the mid-range. Just can't get the roll on it. Finally picks up a big rebound. Being frustrated by both Alex Cook and Jack Cooley. But this defense for the Golden Kings, it is simply suffocating. Cooley coming over for the help side. Double teams coming left, right, and center from the defending champions.
Well, little by little, the clock about to give them a factor here. So the Dragonflies need to be able to take as much opportunity that they have. That's going to help.
It's definitely a smooth play, probably the smoothest we've seen tonight here from the Hiroshima Dragonflies. We're down now here to a 15-point ball game. Under 6.5 here in the fourth quarter. Another
That's
turnover.
good defense
wow.
once again. They're making their run.
We have seen this time and time in this game. The game of runs, as we've alluded to. But is 15-point deficit? Is that 15-point deficit too big a run here for the Dragonflies?
We'll find out, but it looks like the Dragonflies are capable, and they've shown it with a couple of 8-0 runs. Here's another big one here.
That cuts it down to a 13-point ball game. Diane Katani calls timeout. That's a nice little high-low play action between Kerry Blackshear Jr. and Nafawe. Well, it cut it down to 13, and anything is possible, but this is the question I asked in the first half. Is there the worry the Golden Kings could maybe just get a little bit too relaxed, a little bit too complacent? That is going to be the key factor here.
Well, if there was any complacency, it's going to be gone now after that timeout. You know, Coach Dae Okitani will be able to really talk to his wards, remind them the fact that, look, we worked so hard to be able to get here, number one. And here in the finals, after the first 3 quarters of play, we have played solid basketball, doing what we do best. So we just got to go back to that and not be complacent at all.
Well, you can see, of course, the leading scorer is Kerry Blackshear Jr. Nobody in double digits at the moment for the Dragonflies, but, you know, another worrying factor for Coach Kyle Milling. Chili Nafawe does have 4 fouls. They need him. They desperately need him because, Anthony, when he's on the floor, you can just see the paint just has a few more options for them on offense.
Well, that's for sure. That's one of the reasons why he's the naturalized player who can actually play together with the world import. So when you have him in the ball game, you essentially have 3 solid individuals, and then you back him up together with Nakamura, who is a very good point guard, and Yamazaki, who can hit it from the outside any time he's open. So you know that you've got a solid 5 on the floor. When he's out, it really is a major factor for them, offensively and defensively.
Well, Hiroshima do have 3 fouls to give here in the final 6 minutes. Golden Kings just need to find that momentum back. Try to kill this one off early. Triple T comes well. Nafawe took a gamble, and now they come up with a stop. So
He was playing with fire there. He could have picked up his 5th.
Well, there's a big roll in the end. Nafawe maybe when he's playing with fire, as you mentioned before, fouls, he just seems like he's playing a little bit better.
Now let's see if the Golden Kings will try to go right back to that matchup, because they want Nepawe out of this ball game, that's for sure.
Well, they've struggled offensively, but the defending champions, right now they need to exhibit that DNA that got them the championship last year. Matsuwaki struggled, but this time he gets it, and that is a huge three-pointer by Matsuwaki.
That was a perfect setup from Kishimoto. Waiting at the last moment and got his shooter free, who knocked it down.
Actually got it by Vic Law. Just realized nobody's around, and that cuts it down to a 12-point ball game with under 5 minutes left. One thing I like here about the Dragonflies, Anthony, they are fighting here at the moment. They are playing with their hearts on the sleeves, and another timeout's going to be called by Dai Okatani to try and restructure his players' defense. Here's another replay of the three-pointer by Matsuwaki, and they needed that bucket because they were struggling offensively for the past 3 possessions. It's the Golden Kings fans who did make the 3-hour flight from the beautiful island of Okinawa, even they know it's not over at the moment. And there's what you talked about, Anthony, playing with fire. He had to time that one to perfection, because had he not, his day would have been over. He would have gone to the bench with 5 fouls.
And not to say that that would have been it for the Dragonflies, Josh, but it would have been very hard without him on the floor, especially the fact that they're still trailing by big. If it was close, it would have been a totally different story, but right now, in order to make this comeback successful, they need him on the floor.
No doubt, of course, he's been the key foundation. Many fans need to realize he was brought into this team due to the injury of Kai Soto at the beginning of this season. Of course, I still maintain what I said at the beginning of this game. Had Kai stayed at Hiroshima, I still think this team would have got to the finals because, they were playing good basketball last season. They ended up playing Chiba Jets as the 8th seed in the playoffs, who, in my mind, were probably one of the best regular season teams we've seen in the B-League over the years. And they took that to a Game 3 series, but credit to Chili Nafawe. He's come into this team and he's played his role to perfection.
Here we go, final 5 minutes of this one. Game number 1. They have 12 points right now at this stage. For the Golden Kings, it's a luxury, Josh.
Matsuwaki made his last 3. Nowhere to go here. Nafawe trying to put him off. Another offensive rebound for the Golden Kings.
And again, you can see those 50-50 balls, those long rebounds. Once again, heading to the Golden Kings. That's a great rebound here.
So they must score here to get it to 10 points or the single digits, depending on what they go for. There's a penetration of finally inside the paint again. Too big, too strong, and simply, even with 4 fouls, he is just too good.
He has taken over here in the 4th period like he should. He is their naturalized star.
Again, he's going for those gambles, but they're working at the moment as Cooley gets called for a foul. And that's going to be the 3rd team foul against the Ryukyu Golden Kings. Calling for the unsportsmanlike foul, but I don't think that's going to be reviewed whatsoever.
Well, you called it, Josh. This, I think, was playing with fire up against the guard. Somebody who is sure-handed like Keita Imamura. You don't want to be able to reach in. It turned out to be successful that time, but I think even Coach Kyle Milling held his breath there.
Well, whatever the outcome of this game is, I definitely think Game 2 is going to be very exciting because, what we're seeing right now from the Dragonflies, we are seeing a tenacity and a will to compete, but also a composure right now on offense to try and stay in this one. So regardless whether they win or lose this one, Game 2, I think tomorrow they're going to come out all guns blazing. Hiroshima looking to isolate, goes in for a tough Euro step, and he finishes under pressure. And now it is single digits, and Seafunyo nods ahead. He knows it's game on, Anthony.
This is the closest they have ever been after being down by 24 at 56-32. We're going to have a great finish here to game number 1.
Imamura penetrates, can't finish. He's unable to get the rebounds. But the loose ball falls in favor of the Golden Kings.
Just too many extra possessions here for the Golden Kings. But the thing is, can they convert? No, it's going to get travel.
Well, right now, as the great commentators of the NBA would say, the Golden Kings, they are choking under intense pressure. And this is what I asked Anthony. Could they have gotten too complacent? Could they have got too comfortable? Right now, I think we're seeing that. But defensively, they've got to hold tight.
And they are in the penalty. They have no more fouls to give, or else it's free throws here for the Dragonflies. Nepawe gonna attack here. That's not his game.
That's good defense by Jack Cooley, just standing strong there, forcing the foul into a tough one. 3 left, an 8-point cushion so far for the defending champions. Almost got the mismatch. Kicks out, Imamura, 3 in the third quarter. Make it 4! This guy may have just called game, and he has just forced Coach Cal Milling to call timeout.
There is no way you can leave Imamura that wide open. You've got to have somebody staying home to him, as we're going to show you this replay. That's lack of recognition from Nepawe. Well, he had to help out his teammate because there was definitely a mismatch there.
Well, you're absolutely right there, because indeed it was Toshiki Kamisawa who had the impossible job of trying to defend Alan Durham. Let's put it this way, 6'10", 11, 7 foot, whatever. Many people struggled to defend Durham on the perimeter or on the paint. So Nepawe had no choice, but you know, it's the double dilemma right there. You take that gamble for the double team, you leave Keita Imamura wide open, you're always going to be in the wrong no matter what.
That's why Coach Kyle Milling has to be able to design a defensive pattern that the help comes from somewhere else and not from Imamura. Unfortunately, Nepawe didn't realize it, so he was the one who helped. But the help has got to come from somewhere else and not a dead shot, which is Imamura. And Imamura made the defense pay right there. And it's now a more comfortable 11-point lead. They're still not out of the woods. Still a lot of time to be played. But again, they have to be able to check that one defensively, or else Imamura is just going to go crazy here in the last 2 minutes.
And Nakamura found a quick one. That's a good play by the Hiroshima Dragonflies, going quickly at the Golden Kings as they keep it to 9 points. 2:15 to go here in the fourth quarter. Game 1 of the finals.
That's what they needed, a quick hit. That's what they got. Now they've got a defensive stop coming up here.
Goes out of bounds, but that's going to remain possession to the defending champions. But you love the hustle, the fight here, the heart coming from Sakuto Nakamura. A nice dime finding Nick Mayo. That was Hakeem Olajuwon-esque. He caught that midair.
Boy, the crowd on their feet here, and why not? The outcome still hanging in the balance. Not a comfortable lead being enjoyed by Ryukyu.
And the final's got to be careful. He doesn't want to pick up that 5th foul. 5 seconds left here for Durham. He's got to get something going. Finds Kishimoto. Hail Mary 3 is up, and that might be good night, Yokohama. He did it in Game 1 against Alvar Tokyo for the winner. And just like Imamura, he may have just called game here tonight.
Talk about a clutch 3. Mathematically still possible, but they need a quick hit here. They're wasting a lot of time.
And there's the ISO coming from Blackshear Jr., one leg. And that cuts it down to a 10-point ball game. But, you know, as I mentioned, Anthony, regardless of the result tonight, what we have seen here in the fourth quarter from the Dragonflies, they can compete here against the Golden Kings. So he's got to take his players out this game and think, hey, take that 10 minutes in the final quarter of this game, and let's put it into 4 quarters in Game 2.
You know, Josh, there was really no question about the fact whether they can stay in step. The thing was, they just weren't hitting their outside shots in the first 2 quarters, especially in quarter number 2, where they scored only 9 points. But if they hit those open shots, they hit their shots from inside the paint, they can be very competitive. But you cannot shoot 21% from 2-point distance. It's not going to cut it.
Well, the points inside the paint are going to be a key factor in Game 2 at the moment. Dragonflies have got to think about taking a few chances here. They do have 2 more fouls to give after this one. But under 90 seconds, down by 10, it's going to take a miracle for this team to get back in it.
Well, they don't need to foul at this stage. They come up with a stop, have a quick hit. If they can get an open 3, much better.
They decide not to trap into the full court. Kishimoto now here with the ball, looking to isolate. Goes for another 3-point, another step back, front iron, can't get it.
Boy, they got the stop, but the thing is, you need to get that defensive board, Josh. Now they got clock to burn again.
Torren finds Kishimoto, finds another one. That might be Ayasu Minasai. So all the fans back in Okinawa, because this man, Ryukyu Kishimoto, makes another one. Anthony, I think it's fair to say, that's game. That is arigato gozaimasu coming from Ryukyu Kishimoto.
I've got to agree with you. Again, they got the stop. They forced a long shot, but they were not able to get another one of those long rebounds. 90% of those long rebounds the entire afternoon has gone to the Golden Kings. And that, just because they had too many extra possessions here, as you can see, they made them pay once again with this open 3 from Kishimoto.
I'm not sure if it was Nakamura, Takuto Nakamura, that got called on the box out against Imamura, because Imamura just went in too easy to get the offensive rebound. And, well, it's a game right now. Kyle Milling, the turnaround's not quick, because they're going to play tomorrow for game 2. And if needed, if we go to a game 3, it will be on Tuesday, which is different from previous B-League finals because all 3 games are played consecutive. But if they win tomorrow, they'll get a much-needed day's rest, of course. But, what is going to be the big thing that, the Dragonflies is going to have to improve on? You did mention points with inside the rainbow. The 2-point factor is crucial. But, what are some other things that you think that have really hurt the Dragonflies here tonight?
Well, number 1, they really weren't able to hit their shots. Not just from 3, but especially from inside that paint. There were a couple of shots that were halfway down, but just didn't drop. So these are the shots that, you hope, number 1, drop. Number 2, you need to be able to move that basketball around. They didn't do that, especially in the second period. They were actually playing hero ball. It was whoever brought that ball down, there wasn't even a second pass. They would go straight to the basket, and the defense was there waiting for it. So you're playing into the hands of the defense. You've got to let the defense move from one side to the next, look for an open shot, and then hopefully when you take those open shots, you now pray it goes in. But somebody like Matsuwaki, who came in here, Josh, early, and he hit 2 quick 3s, and that quickly stemmed the tide for the Golden Kings. And so if you're not able to, it's obviously it's a hit or miss league. So if you're not able to hit your shots, you're not going to be able to win the ball game.
You made a very good point there as well, because Matsuwaki, who has struggled immensely from the perimeter, came in firing 2 quick 3-pointers. Did make a big one, especially his third one tonight, which they had a very barren scoring run. But, you got to wonder, it's only a quick turnaround here for the Dragonflies. They've got to regroup quickly. And the Dragonflies, they remind me of the Golden Kings in the 2022 final when they went up against Utsunomiya Brex. These are growing pains. They may not win these finals, but whatever experience they take from this, they've got to make it a factor to get back to the finals next year. Isaiah Murphy gets called for the foul here in the forecourt. 52.2 seconds left, 12-point lead to the Ryukyu Golden Kings. And Anthony, that's another question you got to ask. If Chili Nafawi doesn't get into foul trouble, this could very well have been a different game.
That's another good point. He sat down for the majority of that second period, and that was the big quarter. That's going to be an offensive foul.
Well, I agree with you, but for some reason, I think they're going to call this on the defense. Yeah, they're going to call it on Yamazaki.
Wow.
And that was my first thought as well. I thought that is definitely going to be a charge against.
He lowered the shoulder quickly there, Josh.
Yeah. And the momentum will stay in the favor of the Golden Kings. These teams, of course, working relentlessly through a long regular season. The Golden Kings, of course, played the continental competition of the East Asia Super League. Now remember, The winner of the Japanese B.LEAGUE will actually be heading to Dubai this summer, along with the champions of the KBL, the Plus League, the CBA, and the PDA to play in the BCL Asia, the premier competition led by FIBA for the Asian teams across the continent. Even more, another D3 can't get it.
And again, another one of those long rebounds, again falling to the hands of the more aggressive team, which is the Golden Kings. They're going to hold on to this one and cruise to victory here in the final seconds.
Well, Kishimoto from no man's land. That one's going to go over the backboard, and that will be an out-of-bounds violation with 10.5 left. Well, Anthony, I think they can start to set the sights here on game one. They'll take this one win away from a consecutive championship, but you got to think, game two, I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for the Golden Kings. I am anticipating that Dragonflies are going to come back with a bang for game two tomorrow.
I totally agree with you. I don't think they're going to miss the same shots that they missed here today. There might have been a couple of nerves from some of these players early on because this is their first finals, wherein as far as the Golden Kings are concerned, this is their third straight, as you mentioned, here in the big show.
Well, basketball fans, we thank you for joining us. Game one of the 2023-24 B.LEAGUE Finals goes in favor to the defending champions, Ryukyu Golden Kings. They win this one 74-62 against the Hiroshima Dragonflies. Well, players will shake hands with each other. We will get some words, some interviews with head coaches of the Ryukyu Golden Kings, captains and MVPs. We'll get those interviews translated in English. We'll show you the highlights, run the stats, and we'll give you the lowdown. But Anthony, as expected, I pretty much expected the Golden Kings to win game one. Third B.LEAGUE Finals, defending champions. But game two, I think it's going to go either way from what we've seen here in the fourth quarter from the Dragonflies.
Well, Coach Kyle Milling, he's been here. He's been a coach all over the league and actually all over the world, rather. And so he knows what he should be able to do to make these little tweaks here and there for game number two. And I expect a lot of changes from this squad. They know that it's just game number one. It's a long series. You got another solid. They need a solid 4 quarters, though. They cannot get off to a slow start. They cannot get Nepawe into foul trouble. And they might be able to try to use that man there, Shogo Asayama, who you keep showing what they showed a while ago, because this guy is retiring at the end of the season. He's 42 years old, but he's been around the block. He knows what he has to do in big situations. They might be able to use a few quality minutes out of him.
Well, there was a player that struggled here immensely tonight. One, Dwayne Evans, of course, who has been their key go-to player, along with Nick Mayo and Kerry Blackshear Jr. But, it's interesting. I don't know how to explain the defense of the Ryukyu Golden Kings. Alan Durham, Jack Cooley. I mean, it's like a boxing match with those two. You got to fight with them inside the paint. You got to fight with them on the rebounds. And for any front court here in the B.LEAGUE, that just becomes the ultimate challenge.
Well, I think, they had a little bit of recipe for success wherein they try to attack Jack Cooley inside. And then if they didn't like that matchup, they kicked it out for some open shots. So they just have to keep that ball moving. They just can't keep it on one side of the floor because that really works to the advantage here of the Golden Kings. They didn't really have to work that hard defensively, especially in quarter number 2.
Well, we are going to get some words here from Keita Imamura, and we will have this translated momentarily shortly after.
まずは今日チーム最多の15得点、今村圭太選手です。まず今村選手、今日はスリーポイントも5本決めてゲームは見事勝利しました。今のお気持ちお聞かせください。
そうですね。はい。まずは大事な初戦、この初戦をどれだけ勝ち切るかを大事として来たので、少しほっとしているんですけど、ただまだ何も成し遂げてないので、明日しっかりゲーム2で決められるように、広島さんもバウンズバックしてくるはずなので、しっかりとそれを自分たちが受け身にならずに、自分たちが勝ち取る気持ちで、臨めればなというふうに思います。
貴重なゲーム1を勝利しました。いよいよ連覇に向けて王手です。ぜひゲーム2への意気込み、そして自分のここ注目してほしい。ぜひお願いいたします。
はい、そうですね、本当に2連覇 向けて2連覇を掲げてきた中であと1勝で2連覇を達成できるので、まだ油断せずにここにいるブースターのファンの皆さんと一緒にまたいい景色を見られるように、頑張っていきたいなというふうに思います。はい、
熱いプレーありがとうございました。今村圭太選手でした。さあ、そして続いてはこの方にもお話を伺いたいと思います。ミスターキングス
defending champions
岸
Ryukyu
本
Golden
雄一
Kings.
選手
And
で
his
す。
words quickly there were the fact that it was a huge relief
さあ
for
岸
them
本
to
選
get
手
the first game.
こ
Remember,
の
they
大
won
決
game
戦
one
で
against
す。
Alvar
ゲームは
Tokyo,
勝利
but
し
they
ました。
lost the first game in the semifinals
お気
against
持
the
ちい
Cuba
かがでしょ
Jets,
うか。
and he
本
knows
当にほっとしてま
Hiroshima
す。
will bounce
はい
back. Let's listen now to Ryuichi
また今もこ
Kishimoto.
の拍手ですが、ファンブースターの応援というのはどんな力になりましたか。
はい、今日4クォーター相手に追い上げられている時にも本当にこうコートに立っている選手だけではなくて、本当にここにいるキングスを後押ししてくれる全員の力でなんとか最後押し戻せたかなという、はい、今そういう気持ちです。
終盤には貴重な2本のスリーポイント決めました。どんな思いで打っていたんですか。
入ったらいいなという思いで
さあ、会場にもいますが、沖縄にもファンブースターたくさん見ていると思います。ぜひすべてのブースターに向けてゲーム2への意気込み、最後にお願いいたします。
はい、ケイタも言ってたんですけど、まだ1勝です。はい、明日必ず勝って、でもっともっと僕たちはより良いバスケットができると思うので、向上心持って明日も、はい、戦っていきたいと思います。
明日も楽しみにしています。岸本雄一選手でした。
では続きましてアレン・ダーラム選手にお話を伺います。今日ダーラム選手はチームで2番目の12得点、そしてチームトップの8アシスト、4リバウンドを記録しました。ご自身のプレーどう振り返りますか。
Cheering did help this team get through. And it's one win away, but let's listen now to Alan
I always
Durham.
told myself, the whole time, this whole season, I just do whatever it takes for the team to win, and just take what the defense give me. And all those guys capable of making big shots, and they make me look good with the 8 assists. So it's credit to them.
そうですね、常日頃から自分がチームにできることっていうのを考えながらプレーしているんですけど、今日は常に僕以外にも非常に優れた選手揃っているので、その選手たちを信頼してプレーすることを意識しました。
チームとして今日は立ち上がりから素晴らしいスタートがありました。そして第4クォーター追い上げられましたが競り勝ちました。改めてそのチーム力、どんなところが最も良かったでしょうか。
We on a mission, and that mission's not over until we holding that trophy. So we're gonna come out the same way tomorrow, and we're gonna try to finish it off.
はい、今日非常に勝利したことは嬉しく思っています。ただ明日もう1試合あるので、そこでまたもう1個勝てるように頑張っていきたいと思ってます。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとう。
Well, strong words there coming from Alan Durham that his team, they are on a mission and they won't stop until they get that trophy. Remember, looking to become only the second team after Alvar Tokyo to win 2 consecutive B.LEAGUE championships. Utsunami Brex, they've won 2 B.LEAGUE championships, but they won years apart. And let's now listen to head coach Dai Okazani.
出だし、前半はかなりディフェンスもオフェンスも良くて、シュートも入りましたし、ちょっと4クォーターですよね。4クォーターでボール止まったり、ちょっと2ビッグのところでオフェンス何やっていいか分からなくなって、ちょっとリズム崩したんですけど、そういう課題もありながら、ちゃんと勝利できたことが良かったかなというふうに思います。
立ち上がりいきなり琉球の8点のランで始まって非常に素晴らしい前半でした。改めてどうゲームに臨んでどんなところが良かったでしょうか。
そうですね、選手たちのインテンシティ高かったですし、ジャックのスティールから始まったんですよね。やっぱりあそこビッグマンがしっかり、ディフェンスしてくれると、自分たち日本人選手みんなハードにプレーできるんで、本当にそこの一番最初のプレーが自分たちのプレーのトーンをセットできたかなというふうに思ってます。
そして8点差まで追い上げられた第4クォーターは今村選手、岸本選手、このスリーポイントが大きかったですね。
松脇もね、やっぱりあそこのコーナーのスリーやったと思うんで、あそこでやっぱり決めてくる選手がいるっていうのは心強いですね。
3年連続のファイナルでこの横浜アリーナもホームのように感じていると昨日前日会見でおっしゃってましたが、改めて今日このアリーナの雰囲気はいかがでしたか。
はい、琉球のファンの人が本当に多いですし、もちろん広島から来てこうやってねファイナル盛り上げていただいてるので、ね、本当にいい環境で僕たちはバスケットできてるなというふうに思ってるんで、明日はねどっちが勝つかわからないですけど、でもやっぱりねいいバスケットをお互いに見せれるように頑張りたいなというふうに思います。
勝利おめでとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Well, Daikatani, of course, very relieved that his team were able to win the first game here in the finals of 2024. And again, just like his players, Ryukyu Kishimoto and KT Momura and Alan Durham applauding the fans. But what he said was in the first half, on offense, they were moving the ball very well. Defensively, they were very strong. It was the fourth quarter. They didn't seem to move the ball very well, but they found a way through. But also, very, very strong and professional words coming from Daikatani, applauding not only the Ryukyu Golden Kings fans, but also paying respect and homage to the fans of the Hiroshima Dragonflies. Well, Anthony, game 2 is going to be exciting, but I just have a feeling that we're going to see a different Dragonflies team tomorrow.
I totally agree with you. First and foremost is I don't think they're going to be able to shoot 38% from two-point distance. They actually shot pretty decent from 3. They were 8 out of 21 for 38% from Rainbow Country. But can you imagine? Inside the arc, they also shot just 38%, 17 out of 44. And so they actually shot from the entire field 25 out of 65 for 38%. 38% shooting is not going to get it done. But Hiroshima is actually a much stronger team than that. We know what they're capable of. And so I expect tomorrow to be a little bit more exciting. I expect tomorrow to be a little closer as far as these two teams in game number 2 will come out.
And you alluded to this in the game as well. The experience is just a crucial factor. Look, not only are the Golden Kings defending champions, they came here, they lost in their first finals, they came back and they won last year. And this is new territory for the Dragonflies. We saw this very early on. It looked like to them it was more mental anxiety and fatigue that settled in quickly. Because you have to mention, Golden Kings, they played a lot more games over the past 3 seasons than this team.
It's a learning process, really, more than anything else. And you can see that in any other league, in the PBA, in the NBA. What happens is you've got to learn how to lose first before you can actually start to be able to move up that ladder, so to speak. And so what happened, the San Antonio Phoenix did so well during the regular season, almost always the number 1 squad, but they got knocked off by Hiroshima because when it got to the playoffs, it was a totally different story. But last year, Hiroshima was already here in the playoffs, so they gained that experience. Now, moving on to the finals, it's actually their first finals game, talking about the Dragonflies. So maybe a little bit of a learning curve from them as far as playing in the big dance is concerned, but I expect them to make changes by tomorrow. I expect them to be a little bit more prepared for game number 2, and that's why I can't wait for tomorrow.
Well, one thing I've noticed here about the Golden Kings throughout the playoffs, confidence is contagious. Go back to that first series where every game was like a Game 7 against Alvak Tokyo, and they lost by 30, I think it was 32 in Game 1 to the Chiba Jets, but it wasn't until Game 2 and 3 where we saw the dominance, the championship DNA. And right now, we've seen that in this game. But as we said, the Dragonflies are going to have to learn quickly, because if they want to take this to a Game 3, they got to come ready to play tomorrow. And plays like this, one thing I was actually quite impressed with the Dragonflies, they were a better rebounding team for the majority of the game. And that is crucial when you're up against a team who are notoriously known for being the toughest rebounding team in the B-League.
That's true. They were able to match the Golden Kings as far as rebounds are concerned. Looks like 38 is the number here for today, because 38 rebounds for the Golden Kings, 38 rebounds also for the Dragonflies, and the Dragonflies shot 38% from the field overall, 38% from 2 and 38% from 3. But at the same time, it's the energy factor, and at the same time, it's the awareness. You need to be able to have that nose for the ball, and having that nose for the ball is that gentleman right there. Jack Cooley's always around the basket, and he always almost knows where the ball's going to be falling. And so they got a lot of extra possession. So even if they were able to stay in step in terms of the rebounding numbers, Josh, that you were mentioning, which is 38 rebounds for the Golden Kings, and also the same amount of rebounds for the Dragonflies. But when it came to the crucial moments, when it came to getting those defensive boards, they weren't able to do it. And that did end the campaign of the Dragonflies.
Another thing I find a very interesting narrative here for the Golden Kings. You got to remember, we are heading this summer to the Paris Olympics. KT Mamura is probably going to make himself in contention for Tom Mavas's team. But another player who had a big point to prove, especially in the Chiba Jets series, was Ryukyu Kishimoto. You think of this Japanese national team, they've got the likes of Togashi Kawamura, not to mention Tominaga, and Kishimoto. By winning 2 consecutive championships, being the go-to player in the backcourt, he is sending a message to head coach Tom Mavas. Hey, guess what? I'm available, and I know what it takes to win.
Well, Kishimoto is actually an all-star, and he was there. You and I did the all-star game, the all-star festivities, and he's a big fan favorite, not to mention the fact that, yes, he can play the game of basketball, and with his heady play, I do think that he could be and should be considered for that national squad.
That national team will be taking the bulk of their players from the B-League. And, it's a very exciting times here for Japanese basketball because, this team, talking about the Japanese national team, they qualified for the Olympics via the FIBA Basketball World Cup. With the exception of Yuta Watanabe, who was playing in the NBA, the rest of the players are B-League players. But you know what? Watanabe, where's he going next season? He's coming home, Anthony. And I'm wondering every day, which team would he be a perfect fit for in the Japan? And I'm thinking right now, he'd be a perfect fit for Yokohama B. says. Can you imagine Watanabe playing alongside Kai Soto?
That's going to tilt the balance of power towards whichever team he's able to join. If he's able to join one of the powerhouse squads, that automatically will make them a contender for the title. Now, if he joins one of the lower rung squads, then that immediately at least propels them to being a playoff contender. But all eyes are going to be on Watanabe and exactly what he chooses to do, where exactly he opts to go, because that will really point the finger to which could be the new champion for next season. Of course, right now, these two squads are not looking at that. These two squads are saying, nope, we're in the big show, and we're looking to be able to get the title right here, right now.
Well, the fans have come into the arena. They've definitely enjoyed the occasion. It's always a special time here in the finals in this beautiful Yokohama arena. And I think, you ran down these stats, of course, 15 three-pointers. When you shoot above 40% and you make 15 of those, you got to think you're leaving with the victory. There was a one time these two teams were tied on rebounds, and that was the time, of course, Hiroshima did actually beat the Ryukyu Golden Kings this season. Both teams had 33 rebounds in that game. But again, the one positive sign I've seen here from the Dragonflies, which tells me that they can compete in Game 2, the amount of second chances they did have. They didn't convert those second chances, as you alluded to, with the field goal percentage with inside the paint. But again, there's a little bit of hope, but they've got to come out with that fire. This is the finals. It's now or never tomorrow when these two teams hit the court again.
You can see even in terms of actually taking care of the basketball, both these squads actually just had 12 and 11 turnovers respectively. So it's pretty good for both these squads. But to me, very surprising, as you said, the second chance points 17 as compared to 8. That really kept the Dragonflies in the ball game. But again, they have to also concentrate, not just crashing the boards on the offensive end, but they need to get those defensive assignments. Pat, once they get it, once they're able to force the outside shots, they got to get the defensive rebound, because if the defense doesn't stop until you're able to actually get that basketball and you're heading down court.
Well, of course, 3 players did finish with double digits, but we did see that spurt in the fourth quarter, of course, led by Kawata. We know him as Chili Nafawe, originally from South Africa, but a naturalized Japanese player. Kerry Blackshear, who did struggle for the bulk of the game, did step up big time in the fourth quarter, but, I got to go back, 15 three-pointers. But it's the execution, as you mentioned, how they created those percentages from the field. Alan Durham, well, that's no surprise to see him leading the assist category, because he is like a Charles Barkley of the B-League. He is just able to play in so many roles, and sometimes he gets so close to a triple-double. If you just give him a few more minutes, he'll get that. But, of course, he leads the assist racket. But you can see Kerry Blackshear Jr. leading all categories, and that's probably down to the fact the absence of Ryo Terashima, where that is going to hurt the Dragonflies.
Well, you like exactly what Coach Dayo Kitani has done. He's really been able to shuffle in his players in and out of that bench to be able to make sure all of them are fresh. And you can see that's why everybody really contributed in so many departments, Josh.
Well, there's the playoff bracket what we've seen so far, and if you look on the left, all 4 teams had to meet each other on the road to the finals, and all 4 teams are the only champions of the B-League. San Antonio Phoenix, of course, winning their conference. They were swept, and there is one infamous player on the left there who does play with Dwight Ramos at Hokkaido Lavenga. But tonight he's taking up our job tonight. Had to be live in Yokohama. And again, it's been a great experience here for Game 1. But the question is, tomorrow, will the Golden Kings become the second team in history to win consecutive B-League championships? Or will, indeed, Hiroshima Dragonflies take this to what every basketball fan loves to hear, and that's 2 words, Game 3. We will find out. Well, basketball fans, we thank you for joining us here on B.League International YouTube, and as always, it's been an honor and privilege to commentate with one of the best commentators from the Philippine Basketball Association, Anthony Sintai. Anthony, thank you very much, my friend, and I will see you tomorrow.